Hello everyone and welcome to another video for Azure Machine Learning. So today we are going to talk about data, how to upload data, how to use datasets or data stores visually within the Azure Machine Learning Service portal. We are not going to use any Python code yet. I just want you to explain and that you are totally aware of the options that you have when dealing with data in the machine learning service. So here we are on machine learning studio or service, and on the left side you have data stores. And on data stores, you have two options. So one is the Azure file share and the other is the Azure blob storage. So when you provision an Azure machine learning resource by default, and you can see it in my previous videos, you will get a blob storage account, and in the blob storage account you will also have file shares. So let's see. So I am in the playground, that's my resource group, and in the playground you will see we have a blob storage account, and inside the blob storage account you will see we have containers and file shares. Okay, so in containers you have by default the logs, and then you have another container for internal usage, and then you have file shares as well. Okay, so you can register new data stores. So a data store is like a pointer, like a reference to the data we store. Basically, we or Azure doesn't copy the data to the machine learning itself, it's just referencing it. So when you create a data store, you are creating a reference that you can easily use in Python code, in AutoML, or even in the ML designer. Okay, so how do you create a data store? So you only need to type a name, and the most important part is the type. So it supports blob storage and file share. You could see it already. And then you have data lakes, generation 1 and generation 2, SQL database, Postgres database, and MySQL. So those are the supported options for data stores. And then you have the several options like the storage account, the blob container, depending on the type that you use. If I select SQL, then it will ask, for example, the server name. Okay, so today I'm not going to create another data store because we already have it, the two default ones here. But then how do we start working with data on those datasets? So we go to the option here on the left side, dataset, and then we can create datasets, and there are several options from local files, from data store, from web files, or from open datasets. So from open datasets, they are basically sample datasets that you can reference. So I'm going to use this one, the diabetes dataset. And there you go, I have it. If I want to use it in Python code, you go here to consume, and you will see how to get a pandas data frame by using these simple lines of code. So that's the dataset from the open datasets, but you can also use from web files, and from websites is really simple. The only thing you need to provide is the URL to a CSV file, and then you can select options if it's tabular or file, and then you can see the schema generated, etc. We are not going to do this. And then you have the option from local files and from data store. From local files is a file that you have in your PC, but it's very important for you to know that when you use this option, the file will be uploaded to the blob storage container created by default by Azure Machine Learning. So when I select from local files, I'm gonna do it again, COVID2, I upload a file, and here I have this dataset, this CSV file, and look, here I can select to which blob storage, to which data store the file should be uploaded. So because we only have one data store, so by default it will be uploaded there. I click on next. It's parsing the information in the dataset, and then it will show the first rows and the headers. Okay, then I click on next, and it will try to guess what type is every field on the dataset. Okay, then I click next, create, and then I have my dataset. But what I really wanted to show you here is that when you use a local file, that local file will be uploaded to a container in the same storage account. So the last one is this one, country vaccinations. You can see it there. However, this is not my preferred option. Why? Because when you create the machine learning service, you have this storage account by default, and there are internal data consumed by the machine learning service itself. So what I prefer to do is to have a separate blob container or a storage account for data. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to the resource group. I'm going to create a storage account. Storage account. Create the resource group. Let's call it data for ML playground. I hope that's unique. I think it is, and let's create it. Let's create it. Submitting deployment. It should take not that much. Okay, it's finished. We go to the resource. Then we go to containers, and then here it's empty by default, other than the logs, of course. Then we create the datasets for ML playground. And here I can organize in folders or whatever the best way to store my data, and it's different to the other storage account which is managed by the machine learning studio itself. So I'm going to upload the same file just for you to see the different user experience. You have several options when you are uploading a new file, uploading to folder, for example. We just click on upload. Okay, the file is there. Now we have to come back here and create a dataset. So you see, there is the option from DataStore, but if we go to DataStores, we don't have that DataStore register here. So we have to add it. Select DataStore. Let's call it our data store. Select the one we just created, data for ML playground. Then let's select the block container, and we have to put the account key. Okay, how do we get it? So we go to the block container, access keys. We can copy one of those keys, copy, let's put it here, and let's see if this works. Yes, now we have our data store register, and the next step is basically go to dataset, do the same. Let's create from data store instead of from local files, v3, and then we select from which data store, obviously this one, or data store, and then the file. You see, click on next, and then the next steps are basically the same. So if you are doing quick tests, you can really do local files, but just be aware that the final storage is the normal storage account. If you are going to UAT and production, I definitely recommend to have another data store, another storage account to keep things clean and separated. This you already know. I'm just clicking next, next, and create. So now we have some datasets. We know even how to get to those datasets with Python code using the consume tab. And in the next videos we are going to talk about how are we going to clean, because we can clean with Python code, we can also clean with the designer. So there are a lot of options, and we should see them in the next videos. I hope you like this video, and see you in the next one.